Hi everyone, welcome to another video here on Danny's Corner. My name is Danny, and today I want to continue with this whole series, if you will, on attitudinal barriers. I could spend hours talking about these things because they do affect me, as I am a totally blind person and I have a bunch of experiences every day, and so I have to deal with this frustration, with this anger. How do I explain to people certain things? And it's just a work in progress. Some people will understand and others will not. I would like to continue with these stories, and so you know how difficult it is to navigate the place where I'm at. And even if I was in another place, it would be the same thing. And how do I deal with this? So here's another experience that happened to me. I went hiking once, and then again, I've been hiking many times with my family, and certainly with other groups, and it's a really fun activity. So, but this particular time, I had gone hiking with a club, and it's a really large one. And what had happened is, as always, I ask if somebody could give me a ride, especially when I'm not able to get a ride because of the place being far. Remember, or if you don't know, across the United States, there is a service that's called, depending on what city you live in, it's called differently. Here in Phoenix, where I live, it's called Dial a Ride. In other places, it's called Access. In other places, it's called Metro Lift, and so forth and so on. It just depends. Anyway, sometimes those services don't take you everywhere that you want to go to. They have a limit, and depending on the city that you live in, you may not travel everywhere with them. They'll take you to a certain place, and then you have to either get another city vehicle or transportation from there, and it can get really complicated, as you have to wait anywhere from, let's say you make your ride for 11, they can come anywhere from 11:30 to your house or to any other place till 12 or 11:50, because they can take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. And sometimes they can take a long time based on traffic and the other people that they have to pick up. And so the way that this is different from a bus route is that this particular service picks you up. It's a door-to-door service. So they will come to your door, and they will say, I'm your driver, I'm outside. You go and meet them, or they will knock your door and tell you the same thing, and you go with them, and that's how it happens. And so a lot of times it's really difficult when it comes to appointments, and you miss certain appointments because they're late, and it's just a really big thing that we have to deal with, and people don't understand that. Anyway, so when I went to this place, it was about 35 to 40 minutes away, and I knew that this particular service couldn't take me all the way there. So I had asked one of the members, and I knew that she was going, and I said, could you please take me to this place? And by the way, if you don't mind being my hiking partner, I will let you know what to do, and that's that. And so, yeah, she agreed, and she picked me up at my house. Everything was great. And we went to the hiking site, and the person who was leading the hiking group was surprised. Somebody had called me, another person, or texted me and said, this hike is quite difficult. There's going to be, it's going to be challenging, and so forth and so on. And again, I don't need to tell people my previous experiences with hiking, nor anything else that I'm doing. You know, as individuals, when we sign up for an event, or when we go and sign up for, let's say, a club, or let's say, or a class, most of us know what we're doing there. Okay, most of us know that this class or this job or this club will involve this, or this activity will involve that. And so I did appreciate the message that was sent to me, and I didn't reply because I already know that hikes can be easy to a bit hard, or completely difficult, or if not impossible. So I know the levels and things like that. But when I got to this place, I could feel some tension. And I didn't think anything about it until this particular person told me that I had to call the person who was the CEO, or the person who was in charge of the entire club, because he wanted to talk to me or something like that. And so I did, on my way there. And he said, I think it would be best if you don't do the hike, because it's going to be hard, because there's going to be, we don't know how long it's going to take, and some other things. And I didn't say anything. I like listening to the person, listening to whatever points they have to make. So I said, well, that's no problem. I don't find any problems to what you're telling me. I don't know why this conversation has to take place. And so he said, wait for me 20 minutes or 30 minutes or however long it took for him to get there. And I didn't say anything. But I knew that I was not going to wait. Imagine waiting at a place where everybody was going to go hiking, right? The time was already set. I was probably going to have to wait alone for him to show up. I don't know anybody. That place was going to be deserted. And if you have been on hikes on these mountainous areas, anything can happen to you, regardless if you're blind or not. It's where, there's more danger or whatnot. And so, no, I wasn't going to do that. So I said to the person who was helping me, let's just go and hike with the group. So before that, the leader of the group decided to read the disclosure that is found whenever you're going to do whatever activity in this club. The club doesn't take responsibility if you do this, or if something happens to you or whatnot, and you're responsible for this, that, and the other, and the injuries and whatnot. And you're supposed to check a box before you sign up for any activity that you do. And I had checked it, and I know what that document says. And so when that document got read again in front of everybody, somehow you already know that that doesn't happen, or that wouldn't have happened if I had not been there. That was done specifically so I could hear it, just in case, in the attempt or to dissuade me from uh, joining the hike. So what was I going to do? What was I supposed to do at that point? Let's say that I had listened to the document being read out loud. Let's say that I had listened to the person whom I had talked to on the phone, and I had said, you know what, you're right, I'm not going to join this hike. Then what I would have to do was ask or get a taxi, either an Uber or a Lyft, and it was going to take who knows how many minutes, because those can vary too depending on how far you are, and also depending on the time of the day, it was going to cost a lot of money. And because it was in a mountainous area, I don't know if it was going to be $70 or $100, and I don't know how long I would have had to wait for that. So I would have made people wait even more, and things would have gotten even more complicated if I would have gone home. So the next question would have been, so how come you couldn't call the dial-a-ride, the city the service from the city that provides transportation? Well, with that, again, those type of transportation services don't go all the way there. In Phoenix, in other cities, that changes. Some services do, some don't. But in Phoenix in particular, they don't go all the way to a hiking site because it's too far. Number two, even if I would have done that, I would have had to wait 2 hours at least for them to pick me up, because the way these services work is that you have to make a reservation in advance. As I said before, the day before, or in other places, sometimes you need to make them 2 or 3 days in advance. You have to tell them where you're going, for how long, and what time would you like them to pick you up. So sometimes it's not even possible to make same day reservations at some of these places, because there aren't enough vehicles, or they might take a long time because there aren't enough drivers as well. So it's really complicated. And I'm explaining all this to you so you can understand the drama, how exhausting it was for a blind person. Even as I'm saying this, I'm sure you could tell that although this happened a few years ago, it's still I'm still not over it. And when you experience similar situations such as this one, you can't help but think about, this is happening to me. This is happening to me again. So anyway, I going back, I listened to the document and I decided I'm going to do this anyway. I've hiked before. These people are just exaggerating, and these people don't know me. These people have not perhaps interacted with a blind person before. So what do they know if I have hiked before? What a blind person is capable of doing? All they're doing is projecting. And I'm going to say this right now. When you think that another person is not able to do something because of his or her disability, you might just be projecting. That means that if you were disabled, if you had my disability, you wouldn't be able to do a said activity. Call it hiking, call it uh, white river rafting, call it rock climbing, whatever it is. Just because you can't imagine yourself doing that as a blind person doesn't mean that a blind person thinks the same way that you do. We are adults. We know what we can and cannot do. We do not like being underestimated. And just because you have not seen a lot of people like me, just because you have not interacted with people who have disabilities, doesn't mean that you can come up with your own rules and treat us the way that you want. This particular organization was fortunate enough to for me not to complain, bring this complaint to a higher up, because this is discrimination, and discrimination isn't or shouldn't be tolerated no matter where you are. And it makes me and other people feel small. And again, it's not the first time that this has happened, nor it's going to be the last time. Feeling small for somebody who's an adult, feeling as if they have to give explanations to people, as if they were 6 years old or as if we were 6 years old. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. And all these people are doing is segregating us. But then those same people ask, why aren't you hanging out with people? Go out, have some fun. How am I supposed to have fun? How am I supposed to socialize with people when I'm doing that? And when I've attempted to do that, people aren't doing their part. So what's it going to be? Either I'm socializing with people and I'm trying to be friendly, having people help me with one thing or another, or I'm at home doing nothing because all of these events, people don't want me around. People forget that just because you don't say anything to us, we don't know what's going on. We are able to perceive when a particular group or certain people don't like us because of who we are or because of our disability or whatnot. It's shameful. And it's these type of attitudes that we should stop. It's this type of segregation that we should stop right away and not let it continue. So don't think that this whole thing that's going on with society that only has to do with LGBTQ and or black people. It's much more than that. Every minority group has gone through the same things that I have gone through. It's time for us to get together, every group, and start asking for human rights, not for just one or two groups. There's a bunch of groups, and they all have one thing in common. They're being discriminated. They're being segregated. They're being left out. And if we say that we are a fair society, a society that wants to become inclusive or whatnot, then let's show it with our actions. Again, not with one group or another, but with every minority group. Let's try to do that. And let's try to listen to those people that are trying to help us to be more understanding and more inclusive. The reason that I repeat that I'm blind a lot is because I get a bunch of questions and people don't see that I'm blind or they can't tell, but It's really annoying when they have to ask the same question again and I have to repeat the same answer. Well, that was long. Um, well, I did end up finishing the hike. I did end up taking pictures, and people were surprised and proud as if I had accomplished something big, not realizing that that had not been the first time that I had been hiking. So please don't assume things about people just because you think that they are, just because you know that they are disabled. Don't assume that they can't do one thing or another. We are here to teach you that we are capable of doing things that you, in your wildest imagination, could never do if you were like me. And this is not an insult. This is not to put you down. This is to show you that whenever you have the courage, whenever you have the boldness, the audacity to do something, the willingness to do something, you will do whatever it takes to make that dream, that desire come true. That there's nothing that's going to stop you. And you also must have the realization that when you can't do something physically, you realize it. Okay, I can't do this. But nobody should be imposing their ideas on you and tell you what you can and cannot do. My name is Danny. Thank you for joining me. If you would like to hear more topics or watch more videos such as these, you can always subscribe to my channel. Remember to share and comment, give any suggestions, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you very much.